Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with a donation deck list from That Maverick Joe with Abzan Maverick. This is a list that looks pretty similar to most lists at first glance, but there are a few pretty key differences. This list is running old school card advantage engine Dark Confidant, which is very cool to see. And it's also running Elvish Reclaimer and Flagstones as another way to be able to ramp and just find some early hate in Karakas or Paducah Bog out of the sideboard, which is really cool. It's also a 3/4 threat most of the time, which is really nice, and a lot of decks can't really beat it, which is kind of cool. We aren't playing Mum, but the Safekeeper's in the deck as a Green Sun's target, which is pretty cool. You get free activations of Safekeeper off the Flagstones. You can, of course, find it off Green Suns, which is really cool. And yeah, it's just nice to be able to have that protection through Green Suns, which typically you don't have. This list is also running a full 4 Endurance. Just a really good card right now against graveyard decks. Delver. Even Control is a 3/4 flash. It's pretty cool. So that is pretty sweet. Hey Arkhan. Hey Bear with Two Guns. And we are running Thrun the Last Troll in the sideboard, which is pretty spicy. This card has lost a little bit of playability over the years, and I think Dress Down's a pretty great way for control decks to answer it. But it does kind of force them to have the Dress Down, because otherwise Thrun is just going to be a heavy hitting creature. When I want a heavy hitting creature, they can't be hit by Swords to Plowshares, Prismatic Endinged, or Bounce with Planeswalkers, which is really nice. The sideboard, we have a lot of combo hate, which is nice, especially in leagues. So 3 traps and 3 silence, which I really like as just turn 0 or turn 1 interaction against combo decks. That's exactly where you want to be on a Maverick deck. You want to be able to buy yourself the time to get to turn 2, land a bear, potentially get to turn 3, potentially start taking over the game. So Deafening Silence and Buyback Trap don't necessarily always win games, but they definitely put you in a position where you can set yourself up to take the game, which is nice. We're also playing Seeds of Innocence in the board, which I'm not a big fan of for really narrow bullets. I generally like to go for flexibility or Force of Vigor, but I do think with the prevalence of 8-cast online and a few other decks that are playing artifacts, it's pretty nice to see Seeds in the board and to see how well it goes. That's all I have to say about Seeds. That's pretty much it. Really cool deck. Really cool to see some versions without without Sylvan Library, running Spirit Labyrinth in the main deck and Dark Confidant to get an advantage, so we'll see how this goes. You could say that potentially Dark Confidant's better in a Mum version because you can protect Dark Confidant as early as turn 2, but pretty happy to see how this goes, if Bob holds its weight, and yeah, hopefully it's pretty good. Going to quickly change this to, there we go. And a huge thank you to Card Hoarder, who sponsored the channel and allow me to play the decks that I want to play, and also to MTG Mate, who is an Australian online store that has sponsored me since day 1, and yeah, big ups to them. All right. Hey Muffin Man. Love to see Tron as well. On the play, I'm pretty happy to keep this. It's a 1-lander with a bunch of ways to actually get up on mana, and a turn 2 Spirit with Prismatic as well is pretty nice, so pretty happy to keep this. Not too sure what my opponent is on though. Here, I'm pretty happy just to lead with potentially Savannah Bird, if I want to turn on turn 2 Bob off the top. I don't mind that. But decisions already, for sure. Hey, Northern Angel. Welcome. Hope you all had a nice weekend. Been having trouble with my mic recently. Started to pick up a lot of stuff, even though I have some pretty good settings in place. I'm not sure what changed it. I didn't really put too much time into changing my configuration, so yeah, definitely interesting to see how it changed. Oof. Sokenzan Crucible of Defiance. Ah, okay, we're going to be playing against, most likely, Moonstompy. Which is pretty nice to have the turn 1 play in birds. But this might just be a Chalice for 1. Unless they have Simian Spirit Guide as well for a 3-drop. Okay. Blood Moon. That is fine. Swords. So I have a little bit of an option here. I get 1 colored mana, so I could either Prismatic Ending the Chromox to take them back to 1 mana, or I could play the Noble Hierarch. I kind of want to play the Noble Hierarch here and just make sure that I have 2 sources of mana, and then next turn we can even Prismatic Ending for 3, which is quite nice. We don't have Knight of Autumn in this deck, we have Outland Liberator as well, so that's definitely something to consider. Yes, Fury's a great reason to go after Chromox, but it doesn't really matter here. Yeah, Fury's really tough. Really hard card to play around, especially when we want to get our mana online. Yeah, and this card's exceptional. Yeah, I'm gonna call it there. Could try to draw into like a basic, but it's gonna take a lot of time, and we just don't have that. And you can see it's definitely not coming. Tough. Mono red. We like the Force of Vigors. I don't mind the Plague Engineers on the play. I also don't mind the parts. That's probably going to be it. The Spirits can come out. The Reclaimers are actually really nice because they turn a lot of lands into hopefully something else. The Sylvan Safekeeper isn't too relevant. The Skoos isn't too relevant. The Caracas can most likely come out here as well. I also don't really want a ton of 3-drops, so I could see the Endurances going and the Skoos just coming back in. Even if it's just a small creature that can get bigger, that's quite nice. Not sure about Seeds of Innocence though. Most lists, hey Jide, do run Chromox. They do get treasures, of course, off their Goblin, but not. I guess it does hit Chalice as well, which is interesting. Maybe Seeds is just better than something. What we got? We got a minute. All right. Let's quickly have a look at a normal moon list. The Red Saga is an enchantment, if that's what you're thinking of, which is great for Force of Vigor. I think Seeds is most likely better than like the extra endurance. Something like this. I mean, I'm happy to test it, of course, as well, so that's pretty cool. Tough hand. Like, pretty nice, but we don't have... Like, we have a forest, but no access to a white off the fetch. tough one for sure. This is where I can probably get better as a legacy player, is knowing how safe I can play. Like having the forest does mean we can green suns for anything, which is really nice. But we do have a Savannah. So sorry, what I was saying about the Verdant is that it doesn't fetch basic planes. It only fetches a white jewel, which does beat Magus of the Moon. Yeah, I think I'd lean to no as well. I think because I'm taking so much time on it as well. If I was going to keep a hand like this, I would want Force of Vigor. If I was going to keep a hand with a fetch land that didn't get a white source with double sword in hand. Yeah, Chalice is also relevant. Blood Moon's very relevant, so... a pretty perfect hand, to be honest. Probably bottoming the Ramanap here. And then the big question is, turn 1 Reclaimer or turn 1... I think I'm happy to go with Windswept Pass. They kept 7. No, I think Reclaim is correct, because Reclaimer can find basic planes, which means if they turn 1 Moon or Magus, the Reclaimer lives. The only reason not to play Reclaimer is if they have like Fury and Magus, but yeah, I think it's just too good not to go for Forest into Reclaimer. This also plays around Chalice for 1 on turn 1 to some extent. $3.15 for the showcase. Very nice. That's awesome. So they put away a Blood Moon. They cast a Fable. Okay. To be fair, that's probably the best 3-drop they could have had. Pretty happy just to pass here. I don't really want to Swords the Goblin, but... yeah, this card has definitely really impressed me when playing against it. Especially as the token get whenever it attacks, you get the treasure. But I don't think there's a consideration here to Swords it. I'd rather just hold up the Reclaimer and then potentially next turn get it. But them being at potentially 4 mana, I don't really care about them being at 5 mana, but 4 mana is pretty huge here. Okay. That's fine. The Trinisphere isn't too bad here. Let's go and get Wasteland and take out the Ancient Tomb and try to attack their mana. That's probably where we can currently hit them. That actually makes sense. Iron Maiden Show. Very cool. I don't know their music, but I've definitely heard of them before. Alright. Big threat? Not a big threat, but... still nice. Like, this is a situation where Seeds of Innocence would be fantastic. I don't mind blocking here. It does turn on, like, Fiery Confluence, but they're always going to attack with this to get the token, so I don't think them attacking necessarily means they have removal for the Reclaimer. They could just be trying to get to mana for something like Khan the Great Creator. Hey, Jittery. Welcome. Okay. Well, the Bob lives. Not great. I think the Saga is a great reason why I would love that Seeds of Innocence to be an extra Force of Vigor, but we'll see how it plays out. Wow, stuck into their own Trinisphere, so some sort of removal here for the Chromox would be really nice. 2 more lands isn't really where I want to be, but I most likely should have fetched for the Dried Arbor and End Step just to get it out of the deck, but this is you control, correct? Okay. Alright. Oof is really nice here. Okay. Oof turns off the Chromox. And it's now just a 1-drop that can't be cast through the Chalice. Hey Creighton, welcome. Hope you're well. I'm doing okay. Yeah, Fury actually costs a lot more as well, which is quite nice, but I really want to see Force of Vigor here. Grist is pretty cool as well, because I get to go Dried Arbor, Black, Grist, sack the Dried Arbor, kill this, and Bob really showing its power here. In just, if it can't be answered, it's going to just really allow me to dig deep, which can definitely bite myself in the face because the deck does have a lot of 3-drops. So if you have Bob in play, you'd have to kill your opponent pretty quickly, or else you're going to die to your own Bob pretty quickly. And okay, there's the seeds, and there's the plague. So create a token, and then honestly, I think we just. Do I even want to show the seeds? I don't think we do. I'm happy to show the Plague Engineer, because that does change our clock. Put them to 10, put them to 3. Plague. That's true. We did reveal the seeds already, so I should probably just. But do I want them to gain life? I guess they only gain 3. That's actually a fantastic point, Northern Angels. Getting rid of Trinisphere does open up Fury, which I don't want to open myself to, so great point. I think I do care about Fury, because currently my only, like, my way to win right now is just through the creatures on the board, and getting rid of the Collector Oof is pretty huge. They have to go like Soul Land into Fury here. It does free up Plows, that's very true. A Sheen. 46 months, Paul. Too kind. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Too good. I'll definitely have to come and work at one of the next MTG Mate buy sell days. And catch up. I think we're just running this back. Yeah. Free brekkie? Love it. I like how you look at things. Free brekkie if you do. Nice. Oh. Yes, we do have the Force of Vigor, but I mean, it really relies on it being a Blood Moon. Can you still hear the music? Because I can't hear the music. I'm going to keep this. Pretty happy to see if we can ending that. I don't want to force it. I'd rather force two things. No music. Hey, Mapson. Welcome. Start with Canopy and pass. One second. Let's sort this out. Ooh. There we go. We are going to force here. These two pitching the endurance most likely. Wasteland would be sweet here. Wasteland and then Prismatic ending this. Swords. Still not bad. I'm pretty happy to swords it. Keep Prismatic ending in case it's needed for an actual threat. Why don't you play a Singleton Yavimaya so you can sacrifice whatever land you want with Knight? Usually because it's not necessary. And it also leads to some awkward moments where you might be taking your opponent off green with Wasteland and then you just give your opponent a Yav. Or you do something like play the Yav as like your turn 1 play and then you're up against lands and they've kept a pretty sketchy hand where you want to go after something like Mox Diamond as their only green source, but then you also have Yavimaya in play. So it can be pretty tough, but... We're just going to go to the beginning of combat and get rid of this Rabble Master. But yeah, Panda, that's a good one. Waiting for their turn is probably a little bit better. Warboss. Okay. So, I guess I might as well just kill this now. And then we can Prismatic Ending the other one. Plague Engineer off the top would be huge. Plague would be really nice. Green Suns. Okay, so we could Green Suns for 3. Nothing great here. I think it's just going to be better for Prismatic Ending on the Warboss. Yeah, because the Knight's only a 2/2 right now. I don't think it's worth green sunning here for Knight. But surely 4 cards in hand, 4 mana available. This is going to be a pretty big turn for them. Wow. What do we have? Nothing too great. We do have Grist. Grist tick up is interesting, I guess. Could get some lands into the bin, so the Knight's bigger than a 2/2. I don't mind that. Hey, Onion Lotus. Legacy is a great format, and if you look, you'll find a great community as well. Grist. Don't hit Plague. Okay, hit a land. That's pretty good. Hey, Continuum. Probably got that wrong, but could be good. Den is pretty good here as well. Nope, they're going to go for a 5-drop. Maybe just Hardcast Fury. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, Fury, I think, in my opinion, Fury has really changed this matchup. It's such a good way for them to be able to deal with our creatures early on, which are usually our way out of things like Blood Moon. So Fury's going to deal 6. Like, the Den can just go wide. This is like a situation as well where, like, turn 7, you know, we had the 2 lander, but would have been nice to go wide a little bit more to maybe get, like, another creature into play, because just being able to block these goblins would be huge. Jeez. That might just be game. Tough. Definitely felt on the back foot there in game 3. Like, big threat from them, and then we just have to play removal instead of actually playing out a threat, which is pretty tough. But hey, that is the way the cookie crumbles. And the cookie, or legacy, still tastes pretty good, so pretty happy to take those losses. Siege Rhino? Haha. Yeah, I wish Siege Rhino was somewhat playable. Alright, the Dreamstalker. The threats are pretty good removal. Yeah, pretty tough one with the mana. There's gonna be a mulligan. This is pretty much the same. This is pretty much the same hand, right? Maybe one card different? What was the previous hand? I think it was double... Oh, maybe it was one Wasteland Cradle. Alright, keep this. Bottom. Bottom. Go. Minus a swords plus a wasteland? Okay. Oof. Esper. Okay. Noble Hierarchy is really nice because it means I don't have to Green Suns for Dried Arbor, which means the Green Suns can just scale potentially into a threat. First time seeing this Tri-land in Legacy, which is pretty cool. What's this? Chalice on one. Interesting. Oh, Wasteland. Okay. Is Wasteland better than Grist here? I think it is. I think it is. And then I'm still going to build out my mana base, so that Wasteland on their side is hopefully useless. I could also go for Reclaimer here. Reclaimer's pretty strong. No, I'm going to go for the birds. I like having access to 3 mana next turn for the Grist. Rafine's Tower into Wasteland is a Mox Diamond? Ah, this is a full color loam. Okay. I know they have been toying around with these sort of colors, so makes a bit of sense. We'll get rid of the... Probably the Noble, just in case they're on, like, Plague Engineer main deck. I'd rather not allow them to name Human. I assume they name Insect once we land the Grist, but I think getting rid of the Noble here is fine. The Exalted is a consideration, but I think this is fine. I think because of the Sudden Edict as well, I also want to keep the Windswept Heath for Dried Arbor in case, but then we drew Knight. But we also have the Grist, which makes 1/1, so a few cool plays here. I am going to keep this, just in case they like force the Grist. I'll get rid of it somehow. Durance in the bin. Has Four Color Loam ever been tier 1? I would say it was tier 1 at the time when Matthew Vuk was playing it. It seemed really good then. Maybe not tier 1, but it definitely put up a few results, which is really nice. Green Suns. Oh, we have the Wasteland in the bin, but we can't get to extra mana just yet. So they think twice and miss a land. Interesting. I think we just Green Suns for Ramanap here to maybe not. Maybe... Oh, I know what the greedy play is. I know what the greedy play is, because I do want to Wasteland them this turn in some way, and this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to get Outland Liberator, and then I'm going to take out their Mox Diamond. And I think that'll force the concession, yeah. Nice. Because there is a world where they just, like, hit. But this is going to be pretty interesting. It seems like a pretty... what's the word? It seems like this deck is going to grind. So, also seeing the Mox and the Think Twices, I probably want the Bog. The Spirits don't seem too bad, because I reckon this is a deck that could be playing Sylvan Library, but we didn't see green. Interesting for them to play Esper. Surely they have Loam. Surely it's a Loam deck. And for that reason, I'm going to keep in the Spirits because, oh, they're just playing blue, of course. Of course. I was thinking about Sylvan Library, but they play blue. They're playing Think Twice. Of course they're playing blue cards, so the Spirits are actually pretty fantastic. The question is there like anything? I don't mind the Force of Vigors, but that's really it. The Oof seems okay as well. Maybe I don't need both forces. Maybe just like one force. One bog. There's a world where I don't need the Caracas, but you never know with Esper. There's a lot of like interesting, I say interesting a lot on the channel, but there's a lot of interesting legendary creatures in Esper colors. Could just be like a swords. Down to 3 swords. Plus the force. Got endurances for days. Could see like 1 spirit coming out. Safekeeper. Safekeeper is pretty tough, especially in like an attrition style matchup. I want to see what creatures they're on first. Because if they're on something like Mentor, then I definitely want the swords. Hey Chick, and hey JB, thanks for the follows. Hope you're doing well. Getting closer to the 3k follower mark, which is pretty sweet. We're going to mulligan this. I want some early action, and this is what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. I kind of want to drop the endurance here to have the... Actually, no, I'm going to drop a land here. We're going to drop the scrub land. And then we have acceleration into Dark Confidant and also protection from Sudden Edict on Dark Confidant, and then green card with Force, which is pretty awesome. Prismatic ending. They're playing Tri-lands and a prismatic ending. Okay. Well, we will start with Green Suns. So this definitely isn't Loam. And it might just be some sort of Esper prison shell. Okay. Maybe Loam was not what I wanted. Here's Chalice. That's fine. Chalice is weird because it means they're not playing cantrips, correct? Savannah. Alright. We will fetch. We'll play Scrubland. We'll get the Bob into play. And then attack with the Dried Arbor. Yeah, look, I'm not going to say it's not Bomberman until... Oh, okay. So a nice little trick here is Urza's Saga comes into play with a counter on it, but the ability for it to tap for mana is on the stack here. So what we can do is cast this on these two, exiling an Endurance, which means they can't tap this for mana, which is pretty sweet, because it keeps them off a 3-drop this turn, like it's a fairy. Yeah, Bow 2 Downs, it's a pretty good one. Alright, again, like, thank you, Bob, but at the same time, not really interested in lands here. I'm gonna maybe just say this is like a Displace a Kitten kind of deck. So having some sort of removal would be fantastic over the next few turns. Is this gonna be Think Twice? Please be Think Twice. Oh. Shark Typhoon. Just to draw a card. Okay, Saga. Well, now we are just on beatdown, so definitely getting this in. And okay, we'll take it. We're on the board, which is nice. I feel like they were in chat, saw Bear with 2 guns, say what it was, and just concede before the secret was shown. The Dream Stalker. No. Yeah, Council, nice win. Very, very cool. Wouldn't expect anything less. Come on, OP. I just want to know. Yeah, big shout out to Joe for the list, for supporting my Patreon, which is very cool. Joe's been a big supporter. And it's really cool to see, not these hands come out, but some of these hands have been pretty sweet. Oof. Look, I'm not going to 5. Sav. We can act like we're a green-white depths deck. Caracas. Nothing. Interesting. There's a world where I should just Wasteland there to stop something like a turn 2 Stoneforge. That would be pretty bad here into Kaldra, but the value of Reclaim is just so hard not to take. Oh, Ancient Ziggurat. We're looking at humans. Okay. Interesting. Meddling Mage. Okay. I assume they name probably either Green Sun Zenith or Swords to Plowshares, which does hit both. But it would be pretty hilarious to see Meddling Mage here name Crop Rotation. I would certainly stream Green Post. I'm a big fan of Tony and what he does. Into_play, for those of you who are unaware of him. They do name Crop Rotation! Yes! Ah, what a win. What a win. Oh, it's too good. Which, to be fair, with the information in front of you, you would think this is a depths deck, but pretty happy that it isn't. It's the little wins. We're just going to double Wasteland here, to be fair. And then draw a 2-drop that we can cast? No. But close. I like getting aggressive. Just getting in. Yeah, I apologize to all viewers. Twitch has really gone up on their ad showings. It's pretty tough because I do like watching some streamers, but it's tough when you like have to watch like 6 ads to get into it, and then within the first 2 minutes they throw like an extra 2 more ads at you. Crazy. I will play the Canopy here and just hold up the Endurance. Will they attack? Meddling Mage. Alright, in response I'll cast this Endurance. I'm not going to target anyone. I reckon they named Swords to Plowshares. So that they can like double block and not be too scared. Oh, they named Green Suns, okay. The question is, do we attack with both creatures next turn? I guess this draw will tell us. Yes, we do. Nothing. I'm going to hold the Caracas just in case they have a Thalia. I don't want to show this and put them off not playing the Thalia. So Flagstones is probably just the best here. I can also draw a card first and see if we draw a Wasteland. No, that's okay. I'm still pretty happy to play this out like it is Green White Depths, because they might not see something like Plague Engineer coming out of the board. Which is pretty nice. Like, we've played this as a Green White Depths deck, and it's like the draws have worked out in a way that it just has allowed us to keep that going. The best meat to eat after working out is definitely Taco Bell. Nice, interesting. Ooh, see, and this is exactly why we don't play the Krakus, because we want to see our opponent. They even played a second Krakus to play it. Whenever you attack for each opponent, create a 1/1. Whenever you attack. Wait. Whenever you attack for each opponent, create a 1/1 human that's tapped and attacking their control. So is this gonna trigger when these meddling mages attack? Kind of lame. I don't really want to use the swords on it. I guess I could potentially just swords away this one and then take 2 and 3. And then just crack this back to their hand. I think that's actually best. Swords the Green Suns. They get a 1/1 with their attack. That's pretty cool. I like that. I think that works actually really well with what humans wants to do. Bob doesn't really change things because we're going to play the Krakus here. We're going to return it. Maybe not. Hey Elo. Too kind. 6 months is very sweet. So a huge thank you. A huge thank you for the sub. We're definitely yeah, we are going to return this because we have to. We want to attack. We're not attacking into a 3/4. Uncle Ben mini show. No, I haven't. I have finished Solo, which I feel like Ewan McGregor really Lieutenant's tough. Lieutenant's going to be pretty good here for my opponent because it's going to make these creatures obviously bigger and maybe put them in a position where they can actually block our creatures pretty favorably. Wow, still attacking. That's really interesting. Especially being at 4. They can't make a great attack on 3/4 with these current bodies. I mean, they have to block 1 now pretty unfavorably. Unless they're just really scared of crop rotation. They go to 1. So this is the decision. Do we show the black and play Dark Confidant along with Collector Oof to have 4 attackers next turn? Meaning they have to have at least 2 blockers or blocker and removal? Or do we not play the black, not show the black, and then just play the Collector Oof, which gives us 3 attackers next turn? I actually don't mind that because currently the Meddling Mage and something else has to double block a creature just to kill it, which means they pretty much have to have 2 more creatures. So I think we're actually in a pretty good position even if we just show the Oof. We're definitely playing the Oof. This is actually a pretty interesting one. I'm actually going to take everything. And good old paint. A little bit risky, but let's try it out. I'm gonna try out not showing the black. I think because of the 3/4 body creatures, we're just in a position where I think it's just a little bit too good, but we'll see. Illusion? Oh, maybe they're playing Phantasmal Image. I think, yeah, the only decision that I thought for showing black is that it brings up Plague Engineer into the equation. I don't think you'd think about Plague Engineer without it. Still fine. Because now they still lose 2 lieutenants. All right. Look, we did this for science. It didn't work out, so we'll get the Bob into play. We'll play the Bob, and hopefully we don't lose this game because of that. Yeah, it's very true. I think that maybe I was just overthinking Plague Engineer of having like a massive impact, but against depths are going to be bringing in most removal for it anyway. Yeah, I think I was just trying to like, yeah, not worth it. General? Oh, Pontiff? Yikes. Tough. Wonder if they attack with both or not. I reckon they do, seeing they have three mana and 4 cards in hand. Surely they have. I guess if we draw like a Source Splash S with this, then they can't. So yeah, this block definitely makes sense. But big yikes. Doesn't do a whole lot. Again, it does kind of show that we're on depths, which is funny. Well, I guess we'll have to win the next 2. That's a yikes. Now I really wish I had Script Ranger, because Script Ranger can target any card, which means that we can target the Phyrexian, their images, which is pretty cool, to kill them. Tough. Spirits. I don't mind the endurances, but I can see a trim for sure. I think this is going to be it. Force is interesting for Vile, but we have Collector Oof, so I think this is pretty strong. Yeah. To be fair, not the greatest keep either. Like, Reclaimer 5 lands is a little bit iffy, but the advantage of Flagstones kind of caught me there. Double Bob. If I had a mana dork, I would love this, because I could go turn 2 dork and wasteland, or turn 2 Bob and wasteland. It's just a little bit tough if they have like a champion the parish start and just go wide quickly, because then Bob can be a really big issue. I'd rather mulligan to at least 1 piece of removal. Nice. I think it's the Grist I'm going to bottom here, but it's tough. I do want 3 lands. That's a yes. I do want the swords. I probably want the Oof, especially if they start with a Vial. I guess I could also bottom the Oof, and like if they have Vial, they have Vial, but then we just have Plague Engineer and Grist as ways to kill the creatures. Hey, Continum, thanks for the Prime sub. Too kind. I think it is the Oof. I think it is the Oof. I'm also going to lead on the Forest here. Just to not get like turn 1 Wastelanded off the Savannah. Which is pretty aggressive from them, but it is currently only white source, so... If they play a creature here, I'm not too unhappy. Our turn 2 play is still going to be swords. File. Alright. Oof. That's pretty good. But again, does hit me pretty hard by not playing the Savannah turn 1. Like I can't Wasteland here as well. No land? Wow. That's a creature. They have to discard. Pontiff. Knight is huge. It is just a 3/3, but on the board it's a huge play because it gives us access to black, gives us access to Wasteland if we want it. Pretty happy just to play the Grist. And then just start attacking. If I was in a really tough spot, I could path the Dryad, but I think here we're in just like such a good spot that we don't need to. Like we can just keep just drawing into natural lands, which is pretty nice. There's no real rush to get the Plague or the Grist into play, which is cool. I think it's just a send back. I don't think I want like the Force of Vigors and the Endurance. Like if they have Vial, we have the Prismatic Endings, we have the Collector Oof, we have Outland Liberator, which is nice. So I have like a 3-land 4-spell hand, and this is not it. But a lot of powerful spells. But hey, if you enjoy this content and you're not following the channel, definitely take this time to follow. I am 16 away from 3K on Twitch, which is very cool. We will mulligan this. I'll keep this. I'm just gonna bottom the path. Maybe not. Like, I think we have a pretty high chance of drawing into the 3rd land. So I'm going to bottom the Forest. Hey Fairy, too kind. Thank you for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Caracas start. Oh, Caracas nothing. Okay. Endurance. Alright. pretty happy to probably just get a plains here and counter this. I actually haven't seen Rob of the Rich in Legacy Humans before. I have seen it in Highlander, which is a Australian format. Pretty cool card. Reach Haste. Whenever it attacks, if defending player has more cards in hand than you, exile the top card of their library. During any of your turn, you can cast it, which is pretty cool. Pretty sweet card. All I want to see is the third land. That's kind of a third land. We'll play it now, because I want to get it online. Pretty happy just to swords again. Nice. I'm going to get Night Online because they have been missing land drops here. I'm also going to get a Bayou, which gives me access to black, and it also is my second green source. Yeah, Mark plays some very cool cards. Noble, that's their turn. I actually like Ooze here and then get rid of the Dryad Arbor. It is open to Orzhov Pontiff, and it's also a creature that I can eat with Ooze, which is pretty nice. I'm just going to take them off the cavern here. Access to Blast is a pretty huge advantage of punishing Mav, which I will be playing probably at my weekly this week with some paper Minsk and Booze, which is pretty sweet. Played with them last week in Naya Depths, but didn't see them at all. But I think it's a really powerful card. This is going to be fine. Pretty happy just to eat the Dryad Arbor. And most likely just continue going after my opponent's creatures. Oh, land, sorry. I don't want to do anything here. Okay. I think green zones off the top would be huge for Ramanap. Righto. I'm happy for this trade. Yeah, sometimes the rips just line up. Yeah, a pretty tough spot by them. Not just because of the Wasteland lock now, but also just they missed a few land drops early on. So, pretty nice to take that. We're 2-1. Alright. On the play against Punishing Waterfalls, usually a combo player. This is going to be tough, but always a pleasure to see. And if we look at chat... If we look at chat... If we look at chat, there it is. There it is. Too good. Wasn't coming for a second, but here we are. Hey, Maverick Joe. List has been pretty nice. There's been some sort of awkward hands where it's just been, you know, like the Cradle Wasteland hands, but you're always going to get those, so I'm pretty happy to keep this. It is a Gigantha, so no card in your starting deck has more than one of the same mana symbol. I wonder if it's like an 8 mulch deck. That would kind of suck. We do have like the Loam answered, like Prismatic Ending answers like a turn on exploration, so I think we're okay with this. Opponent kept 7. Den. Oh no. Ah, okay. Interesting. Okay. Okay. They have 2 mana up. Frogmite. Oh, Affinity? Well, that's a yikes. Swords is pretty nice. I think here I just want to get the Bob online. And start getting that card advantage going. Oh, what is this, like Gut Shot? Oh, Galvanic Blast. Wow. Nettle Cyst? Oh my gosh. This is a crazy start. I mean, to be fair, this is probably exactly what Affinity needs to do to be part of the Legacy format. How much is this to equip? 2. Okay. And then Nettle Cyst is 3. Okay. I think just for... So, I don't really want to use Prismatic Ending and Swords on the Nettle Cyst, but I feel like I do have to, because then the Ramanap next turn is just a great blocker for everything in play. Oh my gosh. Jeez. Okay. So we have Dried Arbor as just a blocker, because does this give trample? No. Okay, so that's cool. I think we're definitely wastelanding the Bugbear. It's tough because they... They can equip this one as well. So I think it's going to be Wasteland, take out the Bugbear. And then just Ramanap. Block with Dried Arbor next turn. Get it back and then try to Prismatic Ending whatever they equip. But these are going to be tough. This is a matchup where I'm happy to have that Seeds of Innocence in the main deck. Equip to the Flyer. Okay, smart. Oh, they can... Oh, with 2 cards they can double equip? Come on. Yikes, the one thing. Yeah. Tough. Alright. Deafening Silence. Yes. Paths. Yes. Seeds. Force. Plagues. Sure. Sure. They would have some creatures that are small. Spirits, way too slow. Bobs, I probably don't mind 2 in the deck. The Endurances don't seem... they seem okay. Maybe the Plagues aren't really relevant. Safekeeper can come out. Skoos. Caracas. Some number of Endurance. Grist is interesting as well. I guess Grist isn't too bad at just creating 1/1s, potentially. Maybe just the 1 Plague. That seems fine. I guess Deafening Silence isn't great because a lot of their things are actual creatures, but I think it's enough to slow them down at least a little bit because like the Nettle Cyst is a living weapon, so it is a non-creature spell. Okay. I'll keep this, and we can try to just hold off until we can Green Suns for Oof, potentially. I think that's okay. Okay. That's a good Wasteland target at least. Hey Jai, thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Another Saga. Alright. Forest. I actually don't mind that. If Outland Liberator can turn over, that's pretty huge. Surely they have a Soul Land here? Yep. Sure. Three mana. 1, 2, 3. I actually don't mind Green Suns here. They could have Dismember though. But I think Green Suns for Oof is just the best play. Really slows down their hand. Hey Sato-san, too good to see you. Hope you're doing well. They're floating a mana. Interesting, they're not making a token. Hey Pendulum. Going pretty well. We went down to Mono Red Stompy. we got up against an Esper deck that we weren't too sure what it was, but we think it might have been... Actually... Oh! Well, it's actually a pretty weird idea that they had it for a control deck. The notion is, with the exception of Chalice and Mox Diamond, to play only cards that can't really be interacted with on the stack, so like Split Second, Uncountable, Flashback, Replicate abilities, it's sort of like land still. Oh, okay. Well, very cool opponent. Very, very cool. Hey, random. Usually we are playing Legacy. A lot of Legacy. Alright. We got it. Oh, but now the Nettle Cyst is just a 1/1, so here we can just attack and then flip the Liberator, which is pretty sweet. Nice. And this is crazy because it's whenever it attacks, you can destroy target artifact or enchantment. Less Dorks and Plaguecrafter, and 2x Kaya with Skyclave. Very nice. I always really appreciate your deck building. Always some really cool ideas. Just a pass. 4 mana to make it a 3. Okay. I'm getting a Dried Arbor here. Okay. Attack, attack. This trigger. I'm going to take out the Great Furnace. I guess if they have like a Shrapnel Blast thing, they could try to like sack it to deal with this, but then I can just sack this to deal with the Nettle Cyst. They're going to float. Okay. Price of Progress. Yeah, we take 4. Ah, 6 because of the Dried Arbor. Apologies. I will play another. Just to get this off the table. Sweet deck. Haha, too kind, Saito. What's your local Legacy scene like at the moment? In paper. Do you get to play like weekly Legacy or potentially monthly? I know Brazil has a pretty big scene, which is awesome to hear about. I didn't expect the price, but I guess to be an aggressive deck as well, it's a great card to have. Also kind of cool because like you make use of your sagas and they go away, and then you can just price without having to deal 2 to yourself thanks to the sagas. Just a pass. It's tough because like if you're not playing stuff out, then you're not winning the game. So it's a tough position to be when they have something like this in play. Frogmite, all right. That's pretty sweet. Alright, opponent. With a baby on the way? Very cool to hear. Big congrats. Saito's gonna be a bit dad. Very, very cool. Do we change this up? I don't think we do. I think we just run this back. Yeah. I don't want to get invested in MTGO because I'm scared I'll be too slow to complete your turns. Any advice? If you have any friends locally that play MTGO, I would see if you could just like go to their place and like have some beers and play some Magic and see how you go. You can download the game, of course. That's free. I think it's $10 and you get a bit of like entry-level stuff on your account as well when you pay your first $10. It's like a starter kit. You could also like try renting just for a month and seeing if you enjoy it and if you can play the decks that you like at the speed that you like online. So I'll definitely like, yeah, download MTGO, try out a rental like Card Hoarder, who sponsors this channel. But yeah, I wouldn't be too sad. I wouldn't be, I think like you're in a position where if you download MTGO and you are just too slow, then you're in the same spot you are now, but you've at least tried. And if you do get onto it and see that you can play at the speed that is required on MTGO, then you get to play MTGO. Huge, huge. Which is very, very cool. But yeah, I would say, yeah, try a ton of different decks and see how they go. We're gonna run this back and see how this plays out. Maybe the deafening silences on the draw aren't great. I would say they're actually terrible. So let's just not see them. Ooh, okay. This is probably a one-lander that I'm happy to keep because it has so much interaction. And we're on the draw. Yeah, so Card Hoarder is an online service that allows you to sign up for like a monthly, kind of like Netflix, but instead of having access to TV shows and films, you have access to cards based on the amount of your account. So I think you can get like a monthly account of up to 200 ticks, or up to 400 ticks, up to 600 ticks, etc., which is pretty cool. Hey, thanks, Cunt. See you Wednesday. Have a nice week until then. We're keeping this. We're keeping this. All right, good luck. Needle. Needle is going to resolve. Probably naming Wasteland here. Yep. Do you know what that means? It means we draw Wasteland. Oh, no. Okay. Well, here I'm pretty happy just to go for probably Savannah into Elvish Reclaimer. Nice. I believe I do have a referral code. Below my stream, in my About section, I have like a link to Card Hoarder, and you can click on that and go to Card Hoarder, and it will go through my linked URL, which is cool. Let me quickly get it. We got time. Here we go. Mox Opal, sure. Three mana. Okay, so I think here I'm going to take out the Mox Opal so that they don't have Metalcraft online, so they can't destroy this with some sort of effect. This... Nope, that's not it. There we go. There is my Card Hoarder link. I mean, that play was nice because now we get to go and get another land for a third color for ending and also Wasteland. Nothing, wow. I assume we might see a removal spell in response to this activation. No. Yes. All right. Now the question is, do I want to take them off red, or do I want to take them off the Ancient Tomb? I kind of want to take them off red because we have so many answers to Ancient Tomb effects that just taking them off a man land just feels good. We're going to go for the forest and then go for white, black, and... No! So close. We will take out the Nettle Cyst with these three. That was close. That was really close. But now we also need to find some pressure, because this is real pressure. Dodged a big bullet there. 3 mana. Oh. Not what I want, but maybe what I deserve. Yeah, this is where this card is pretty horrible. I don't think it's even worth playing out. I think it could actually impact us worse than how it might impact our opponent. I'm not going to swords here. I'm going to see what they do in upkeep. They're just going to make a guy. Okay, in that case, I will swords. Wonder if they play map. I assume they get Shadow Spear potentially. But yeah, Deafening Silence is a card that I would definitely take out on the draw. Usually Affinity's just going to dump their hand, maybe have 1 or 2 cards left, and then just play a card a turn, potentially. So, Deafening Silence, okay on the draw. Probably better than some cards in the deck, but I think I should have taken them out. Yeah, Path can definitely be pretty tough when it is going against mana, but I do like Path because... Ooh. Interesting. What do I want to do here? I think it might be Oof. And then just Prismatic Ending the token. I could also just go for Knight. 1, 2, 3. It would be a 5/5. This is a tough one. What does chat think? What does chat think? I want to see some oofs or some Knight of the Reliquaries in chat. I kind of like Knight because it is such a big threat. We've got 2 oofs in chat. X equals 3, but get chat. I like holding up the path just in case we need to, so I think we will go for oof. Oof and silence. Interesting. Yeah, I guess we might as well play the silence here. The path is most likely happening in their turn. We can prismatic ending in our turn. So, yeah. Fatal Push sadly doesn't hit Murktide. I think that's the big criteria for the removal slot in the sideboard. Okay. I will swords this. There is a world where I draw into... I don't need to. If I draw into a exalted creature, I'm pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy just to pass and see what we draw into. Okay, well. Do they run a basic? That's the big thing. I'd rather not find out. Again, happy to untap. See what we draw, like a exalted creature? No. Giving them like a mount? Surely not. They are looking. Oh, they are running a mountain, which could come back to bite us. Like, you never know. Okay. Okay. I don't think I'm... Oh, they've played this for turn, so they can't actually, like, throw something at the oof right now. So I will just hit this again. Surely you're not playing 2 mountains. I assume they're just playing the 1. Ah! What? Oh! I think we can wait a turn. I'll attack first. They're at 3, so they have to have something. Blast. And this is sorcery? Alright. I think here we wait a turn. They're at 2. So I could draw Noble Hierarch and win next turn. They can't price of progress either because of the Ancient Tomb, which is quite nice. Yeah, we definitely kept a really reactive hand, which is tough. For them to really get on the front foot. But yeah, Waterfalls is the chill dude. Waterfalls usually streams as well, so if you like this sort of content, he does a lot of really good content. Definitely check him out. Okay. Okay. That's it. Bob. I think we play Bob. Put 2 threats into play. Going out the way. Nice. But I think this is a pretty good showing as well of like, even a deck that is literally artifacts, this deck does have some pretty... It has a lot of ways to deal with it without actually casting Seeds of Innocence, which is definitely tough, so... Yeah. Seeds is cool though. Seeds is cool. The that ship was really interesting. I think it's Crew 6 and it's a 7-11. I own a Paper Seeds somewhere. I got one out for Highlander for Eternal Masters, Graham, and then I've lost it. I have no idea where it is. It's like a $40 card. which is crazy. But then I did see it was on the reserve list, which makes sense, sadly. But hey, we can hopefully finish this out to be a full one, which would be very cool. Nice, Clev. Very nice. Hey, if you guys like this content, you can find more on YouTube, where you can subscribe. If you're on Twitter, you can of course follow me there as well. And there's currently a new Discord, just for all my content in one spot. So if you're on Discord and you like that sort of setup, definitely consider joining the Discord. 8 copies at 3? Man. Too kind, Joe. Too kind. Too kind. Always with the gift subs. A huge thank you. Alright, here we go. I'll keep this. Turn 1 Noble, turn 2 Knight. Joe, hope the family's well. Shout out to your kids. Hope they're watching later on YouTube. Alright. Opponent at 7. See how this goes. To Haps, to Saito Sand, to Knight Rider, to Shipwreck, and the Eternally Surprised. Welcome. Congrats on the gift subs. Hope you're all doing well and having a nice week. Ooh, Underground Sea, that's not good. Okay. Well, you get a Knight. Ooh. Spirit? Ah, Wasteland. Still pretty happy to Wasteland here. Get in for 1. They did Thoughtseize first, so typically a 1 lander from a combo deck will have Ponder and Ponder for a land. So I think by Underground Sea Thoughtseize means they just have a second land in hand. So I don't think Wasteland there is going to get them. And there's the Ponder and Underground Sea. So would love to see a shuffle here. Shuffle would be cool. We do have traps as well on the sideboard and also Deafening Silence, so... Oh, Doomsday. Okay. Again, Spirit off the top would be really nice. Endurance as well is a live draw because you have a green card in hand. But with 3 cards in hand, they can potentially just Doomsday us this turn. Deafening Silence, Mindbreak Trap. That's probably it for Doomsday. I don't think the Forces or Seeds are worth it. The Thrun, of course, and the Goblins aren't, so... There has been some lists that kind of are a mesh between Doomsday and like a Empty the Warrens deck, and can kind of Doomsday you game 1, and then like turn into Reanimator out of the board, or some sort of Ant deck, which is pretty cool. But yeah, sadly just a pretty fair hand. And unfortunately, turn 1 Thoughtseize is just going to be great, even against a hand with something like Thalia or Spirited Labyrinth, because you're not going to be able to get them down turn 1. Yeah, Freak, very true. Murktide and Baleful Strix versions are also pretty big, but we haven't seen a lot of Doomsday recently. I'm going to say probably in the last 10 leagues we haven't seen Doomsday, so... Oh, we get a turn! Reclaimer. That's a threat. I don't think there's a world where we get another turn, but if we do, and they've kept an Underground Sea or a Cavern of Souls as their land, I assume it's fetch land for like basic. Oh, but this is interesting. Grist. What can Grist do? Grist can't mill them, which kind of sucks. Oh, I can make them shuffle here. I can make them shuffle, which also turns the Reclaimer into a 2-turn clock. So there is a world where they don't actually want to shuffle here. I think this is probably our only line out of it. Or at least to buy us that 1 turn. But it probably isn't good with only 3 cards left in the deck. Yeah. Wow, they don't play around any removal. Interesting. Tough. Alright. Let's go for... The traps aren't great, but I think they're better than nothing, especially against like a Dark Ritual start if we don't have Deafening Silence. Safekeep is actually kind of nice because it can make a knight just really big early on. Scoos can come out. Grist can come out. Swords can come out. I'll probably keep 1 as a just in case. There is a world where they think of Thalia and therefore play out things like Lotus Petal a little bit earlier, which means that Prismatic Ending's online. Also hits Baleful Strix if they're playing Strix. I think it's just going to be Caracas. Go down to 24 lands. Wonder if they played a defense grid. I have seen grid in the past, but it's usually in other decks. I'm just going to see how this slides. Would love to play first. And I'm going to mull this. Pretty nice hand in the blind, but does nothing against combo. Double Endurance and Spirit? Okay. I could see this working out. I'm also pretty happy to fetch here to play around Days. Also means next time we can like Spirit and Deafening Silence if need be. What is the Premier Doomsday Hate sideboard card? It's pretty tough because it just has so many ways of interacting. Orum's Chant can be pretty tough. I've also seen Torpor Orb. A few lands players have played a Thran. That's pretty interesting as a Urza's Saga target, which I believe I have. Maybe even in my... There we go. Yeah. Thraben Foundry, which is 1 exile Thraben Foundry. Target player shuffles their graveyard into their library. Which is also not that bad against like Reanimator decks. So, oh, they just had the Doomsday. Okay. Yeah, Rivulet is also pretty cool as a blue land. This is where Trap would have been pretty sweet. Force, 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 force. Not too much else though. I mean, I can look at this and try to make it look like I know what's coming, but I don't. Interesting to see Massacre there. That's kind of cool as a sideboard card. Deals with a lot of things. Don't draw a Mindbreak Trap. Don't do it. Don't. Oh, okay. Third endurance is pretty cool. I'm just going to hold up endurance now, I think. Hold up endurance and second endurance. This is actually a really tough call. I think I play the Spirit out because I don't think they can go off next turn with the Spirit in play. Yeah, because I think that Spirit gives us the turn to be able to untap and potentially even draw into a land to play Endurance around days and hold up Endurance as well. Yeah. Yeah. I'm also not going to attack with the Dryad Arbor because I want to play. I potentially want to play the Endurance around days. Go to 8. It doesn't change the clock either because of the Endurance attack the following turn. Because I go to 8 and then go to 4 and then Endurance would potentially put them at -3. So unless they're going to -1 or +1, then the Dryad Arbor attack is relevant. I think I should have also tapped the Dryad Arbor then to act like I just tapped my mana wrong. To not kind of give them the thought of why they're holding up the Dryad Arbor, probably to play around days. Maybe they have Endurance in hand now. Little things. Little things that can definitely give away a bunch of information. But definitely putting up a fight, which is cool. Leaving up white also shows removal. That is a fantastic comment. Yeah, I like that a lot. So that it doesn't shuffle. It just puts the card at the bottom of their library. So that's the big reason to keep it up here. Hey, just this and that. Welcome. Nice. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it randomizes the graveyard and puts it on the bottom of their library. Well, now the question is, do we... I think my play is Wasteland their Underground Sea, and then Endurance in my turn once. Because then they can't pact it. But I probably should have played this after attacks as well, in case they have like Fatal Push on the Spirit. Because then they definitely just deal with it before damage. There is a world where they like wait to end step to Fatal Push, but with the Wasteland now, they might just take it out before I deal damage. I don't think I saw any Dazes in this list, which usually is a 1 to like a 0 to 2 of. All the Force of Wills are here, and there's no Pact to Negation, so I assume Pact to Negation is somewhere. The reason why I don't want to do it in the upkeep is in case of like double Pact or something really stretched. There's no real downside of doing it in my turn and then having a backup one to pitch to the other. Waste on their turn to limit draw. The only reason I want to waste here is that it puts 2 cards at the bottom instead of just the 1. Oh, to limit the draw from edge. Interesting. Cycling, sack a land. Okay. I believe usually it's a 1 or 2 edge. There's 1 edge here, and there is 1 street rate, 2 street rates, which usually aren't full playsets. Usually the numbers are around 0 to 3 of either. I think they tend to play 1 or 2 edges, so I'm not sure if edge is going to be here. What's in Exile? Doomsday. So they have Brainstorm, Brainstorm, Brainstorm. Okay, so 1 card is Brainstorm. I'm going to say 2 cards are Thassa's Oracle. 1 LED. I believe it only plays 1 LED sometimes, so that doesn't make any sense. There is no Cavern of Souls here. So there's a Cavern as well. Why do I not destroy the black land? I probably will after combat. But what I should have done is actually held the Wasteland to not give away the information that I have it. Because typically combo players will end step most of their removal so that I can't just play another spirit on my second main phase. But now it's a little bit awkward because I probably just want to... I guess what we can do is play Endurance, and then if it resolves with a trigger on the stack, we can Wasteland the Underground Sea to put it in the bin as well. And even if they try to like Fatal Push and draw a card off the Edge of Autumn, it still puts all those cards at the bottom of their deck as well, which is kind of cool. Yeah, OGC is on it. There we go. Wasting their upkeep? Alright. We'll give it to the Twitter sphere. Actually. I believe in Snip Tool I can also take out names. Yeah, nice. Opponent keeps disconnecting, which is pretty sad for them, but hey, I got you guys, so I'm all good. Alright. Wasting upkeep. If Spirit lives, you limit the draws by doing an upkeep. Yeah, okay, cool. Upkeep sounds great. Upkeep will Endurance them. If it resolves, trigger on the stack, we'll Wasteland the Underground Sea. To be fair, Doomsday can win pretty quickly, so even if they get down to it like a few minutes, I think I can still go, still get there. It's also really funny that a lot of players of MTGO have issues with the platform on their computers, but it's such an old program that you would think that most laptops of this day and age could handle it. Cabal would be brutal, but we can take them off black potentially if they kept Cavern of Souls as their other blue source. Hey Carador, welcome. Yeah, list has been pretty cool. Only consideration might be going down on lands, because I believe this list is running 25. So I could potentially see like 2 coming out, going up on... Oh wow, they just left. That's tough. I feel like they just couldn't get there with their connection. But hey, we'll take the 4-1. Tough. I was really looking forward to hopefully winning this game and then playing a pretty cool game 3, but there we go. Nice. So we went down to, let me just quickly type this up. Moon Stompy. 1-2. The Dreamstalker was on like a Esper Still list. 2-0. Punishing Waterfalls was on Affinity. Lemieux was on Humans. Doomsday. All right, let's go back to DechTech. Nice. Here it is. So what do we got? We have a pretty normal looking deck that you would typically see for Abzan, but we have 3 Bobs, which is very cool. Safekeeper, which is nice. Liberator is definitely a card in contention with something like Night of Autumn. We also have a bunch of lands that I typically wouldn't see, like the full 6 jewels. Was quite nice in our mana. Like, other than Blood Moon decks, like we did face in game 1, it can be tough, but at the same time, it probably is just an extra fetch land that we play instead of most likely the second scrub land. So not that much of a change. If anything, it just makes our access to black a lot better, especially against decks where we want access to black early on for Bob and for Plague Engineer, or maybe even a Grist in hand against like Death and Taxes, where you want to have enough black sources to outlast their Wastelands and Rich Imports. Reclaimer as well was really cool. So we'll put Scrubland over here. I think Spirits are great right now, and just a lot better than Thalia. I do like a mix, but I think that Spirit by itself is probably where I want to be if I'm not playing, if I'm only playing one of them. I think Spirit just has a nice nice spread across the format right now, where Thalia, there's a lot of matchups where it just doesn't really have the same sort of impact, and being 3 power against a turned on DRC is also pretty relevant, which is pretty cool. Hey Tough Duke, happy Monday. Very cool to see you here. That was pretty much it. I guess the flagstones as well. The flagstones were actually quite nice. They came up a lot of the time when we had the Reclaimers, which is cool. So I can see why, from a deck building perspective, why Joe has added in the extra scrub land. As just another planes you can fetch with the flagstones, which is very cool. And something I actually kind of liked. Like there were times where we just went turn 1 Reclaimer, turn 2 flagstones go, which is pretty cool. The board, I could see the paths being something else, mainly because of the situations where we were wastelanding our opponent, they played a threat and we wanted to get rid of it, but had the path, which is tough. But it still is just a 1-mana answer to anything from Reanimator. Murktide, of course. It's pretty nice against Marit Lage as well, so that's something to think about. You could potentially move towards Cataclysm in a deck like this, especially when you have creatures like Spirited Labyrinth, which are also enchantment creatures. But it typically puts you in a position where you are behind, so you'd have to build a little bit more towards Cataclysm. Death and Tax is getting the big upside because you have Aether Vial, and of course you also just have a bunch of creatures that are also different types of creatures, or at least you used to. The 4 Endurance just gives you a lot of game against Delver, where Knight still is relevant to some extent, but Endurance giving the outs to a lot of combo decks in game 1, and also just being a great threat against other Knight decks, other Reclaimer decks, any sort of graveyard decks, Delver decks. I've been really enjoying kind of the 4-2 split of Knight and Endurance, and I feel like for the matchups where I've found that Knight is extremely good, like lands, or sometimes you see Cloud Post or even Eldrazi in leagues, just having access to 1 or 2 through Green Suns is more than enough. You don't need the full playset in your deck, because usually it's 1 or 2 that is taking you there. And in this build, it's actually quite nice because you have the 2 Reclaimers as well that do act like small Knights. They come down quicker. They obviously have some great interaction with Flags of Trocaire. They're easy to get with the Green Sun Zenith, which is cool. So, although we do have only 2 Knights in this list, I do like how Joe's built it with the 2 Reclaimers as well to give you more access to finding your lands, like your Wastelands, your Karakas, and even just churning through your deck with the Flagstones is pretty cool as well. But yeah, I would say that the Knight cut down is definitely a very new thing. Probably the last few months, especially since the domination of Blue-Red Murktide. So yeah, if you haven't played Maverick in like a year or so, then it would definitely look it would definitely look like a mistake. Yeah. Yeah, I guess the issue with this sort of deck and adding in the Thespian Stage and Dark Depths is that you get closer to being a worse Maverick deck than Maverick and a worse Depths deck than Depths. So if I was going to add a Thespian Stage and a Dark Depths, I'd probably just add maybe 2 copies of each, maybe add in some crop rotations, potentially 2 more Knights, 2 more Elvish Reclaimers, maybe some more lands like another Flagstones, or yeah, probably just build towards Green White Depths. But it is tough. Like it is appealing in this sort of list, where you do have the Reclaimers and the Knights and the Flagstones to potentially put together the Dark Depths combo. But at the same time, a lot of decks right now are just quite well equipped or have matured in a way that they have answers to 2020s a lot more than previous iterations of the format. So by having a bunch of little creatures that they have to answer, it's pretty nice. That's definitely a point with Dark Confidant. You do want to have more lands in the deck to be able to hit them, because this deck obviously having a lot of 3-drops in Endurance and Knight and Ramanap, it can just be a bit of a slog if you're trying to beat down your opponent while you're taking 3 each turn on top of their damage. But the Bobs tonight were pretty good. I probably would like to find room for like 1 or 2 mums, but it is tough because without the full playset of like a non-green creature, you're never going to see it as often as the green creatures thanks to Green Sun Zenith. So it's tough to play like 1 or 2 mums when you're most likely not going to be seeing them on turn 1, let alone the games you play. But it felt like it had a lot of room for a lot of different decks, which is really cool. Yeah, Northern Angel, that's very true. With Sylvan Library, which isn't in this deck due to the Bobs, you are taking 4 a lot of the time. So I think on average, you would most likely be taking less from the Bobs, which is cool. No library in this version, mainly because this version is built with Spirited Labyrinth, so it turns off Sylvan Library, and the Dark Confidant takes up that 2-drop card advantage slot. And Bob is nice because it gets around any sort of players can't draw cards for more than one a turn, especially against the blue-white decks that are playing things like Narset main deck. Prismatic Ending is obviously a fantastic way that also deals with Bob, but a lot of the time against the matchups where you want library, it's just not sticking, or it's being answered by a card like Hull Breacher or Narset, which is pretty tough. We didn't get to see Thrun tonight, but Thrun is obviously a really cool card. It was probably one of my favorite cards when I first got into Magic. I remember going up to my LGS with my Jewels of the Planeswalkers printout to get my first booster, and seeing Thrun in the cabinet, and I was like, damn, this looks badass. I wanna be this guy. So yeah, Thrun's cool. I should do like a little Excel chart of like Thrun, Questing Beast, and Shifting Ceratops, and like pros and cons for each. And sadly, Dress Down is the biggest threat. Dress Down on Thrun, or Dress Down on a board with Thrun is just kind of lights out, because it turns on Crackers, it turns on any sort of bounce effects, it turns on Prismatic Ending for 4, or Source Plowshares, or things like that. But I do like Thrun. I think if you want a 4-drop, it has to be a pretty good 4-drop, and not being able to get countered and having hexproof is just really nice. So it's pretty cool. I would have loved to have played in the earlier days. I did actually play, you can find it on my YouTube actually. I played in the pre-Innistrad Legacy tournament, and I actually covered all my matches, and I played like a Bant Maverick deck with like Aven Mind Sensors and Thruns and Noble Hierarchs and Knights. It was really, really fun. And it was cool to play with Thrun again, and make it kind of feel like it was relevant. But yeah, I think that Thrun can be pretty solid. It's just, yeah, Dress Down is just one of those cards where, for the matchup where you really want it in those grindy blue decks, it's tough to be able to get there with Thrun when they see so many cards in there. They're probably going to find a Dress Down somewhere in there, but you never know. You never know, because hey, they might cast Dress Down. We can just return the Thrun to our hand with our own Caracas. So, heyo. Seeds of Innocence is another card that comes up a lot. Obviously quite a narrow card, especially when you look at it compared to Force of Vigor. But tonight it was pretty good. We didn't see it against Mono Red, and we didn't see it against... we saw it against Affinity, but didn't actually need to cast it. But the way that I usually play against any sort of artifact deck is usually in a way that Force of Vigor I just love, because of the flexibility of also hitting enchantments. And I think right now with the Kiki Jiki enchantment in Mono Red, and also Blood Moons to some extent, Force is just where I want to be. So I think if we change this up, I think I would drop the seeds and have access to an extra Force of Vigor. And then I'd probably try to find something else instead of Path. It is quite tough though. Like, I don't think Assassin's Trophy is the answer. I do like Hallow Newton and the Elf community moving towards Snuff Out. That's a pretty interesting one. But yeah, it would be tough. But hey, that's my ramble. A huge thank you to Joe for the list. A big shout out to my Patreons, of course, including Bookish Matt, who was there. To those in my Discord, a huge thank you. If you guys want to find me on Twitter, you can find me here. If you want to find me on YouTube, here I am. And also, of course, the Discord and the Green Sun Zenith, which over time, it's been busy with work, but I would love to get back in and just really start updating some content, because a resource like the Green Sun Zenith is only as good as it is kept. And over time, metas change and decks change. So it's tough to keep something like a deck sort of how-to up to date, but all in good time. All in good time. Yeah, Joe, that's a great point. Seeds of Innocence, without the Dark Depths combo to kind of get you there in the early game, Seeds is a great way to get rid of Kappa Cannoneer. And of course, most of that deck, if not all of that deck, which is pretty cool. I'm going to see who else is streaming. It looks like Arkan is streaming some Legacy, which is cool, so I'm going to send you guys over there. Hey, thanks some. I will not. But until then, enjoy your weeks ahead. I'll be back on Thursday night for a stream. I wish Minsk and Boo was online because I'd love to play it in Punishing Mav, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens in the future. But until then, a huge thank you to all of you, to Joe for the donation decklist, and of course for the gifted subs as well. The new followers, the new subs, thank you, thank you. Too kind. Hope you guys enjoy the stream. I'll catch you later.